Hello and good morning. This is Mandy from SunflowersandDors. So as you know, there is this amazing collaboration event taking place during the month of November, and it's called the A to Z of Christmas and a Partridge in a Pear Tree. The event was put together by the amazing Rachel from Rach and Bella Crafts, and already it's turning out to be an absolutely huge success. I'm really excited to be part of this event. It's huge, and there are so many talented people that have jumped on board. I'm really loving it, and every single day I'm excited to see what somebody else is going to bring to us so that I can craft along. So for my part, I was given the letter H, and believe me, thinking of something Christmassy to do with the letter H wasn't quite as easy as I expected it to be. I googled Christmas H's and I got things like happiness and holidays and holly and hugs. I even got a ham. And then if you factor in the 12 days of Christmas, I could have considered the 3 French hens. But you know, thinking about Christmas and what it means to me, I decided to go with the word hope. There's a singer-songwriter by the name of Matthew West, and he wrote a song, I think in 2020, called The Hope of Christmas. And it's such a real song. It talks about the tough times, but it reminds us that at Christmas there is hope. Christmas is a time of hope. So I've decided to create a Christmas notebook. Perhaps you could use it to record some of the great stuff that you are grateful for over Christmas. But it's going to be a notebook with a few extras. So I hope that you can craft along with me, and I hope that you enjoy it. Okay, so Rachel very kindly donated a Christmas kit for us to use as part of this event. And it is absolutely gorgeous. I mean, this is just a really small sample of it. There are just pages and pages of backgrounds and washi papers and things that you can use for pieces of ephemera like gift cards or journal cards and text spots. It is really, really beautiful. I'm just sad that I'm not going to be able to use much of it in this actual project. But what I have done is I've chosen this as my main piece. And the reason I chose this was because it doesn't really matter what direction your project is going to take. So it's kind of non-directional. It's perfect for what we're going to do today, but we're also going to try and utilise some of the beautiful stuff that Rach has produced for us. Okay, so without further ado, I'm going to get my paper cutter, and literally there's no rhyme or reason. You literally choose how big you want this based on the kind of width is the gauge. If it was to fit in a journal and if it was going to fit in a pocket or a text spot, you don't want it particularly huge. And so I'm going to cut it here, and then you have got the option as to whether or not you want to use this piece or this piece. And for what I'm going to do today, I'm actually going to go with the smaller piece, and we might use some of that as part of the project. So as you can see, back and front, very, very similar. So I don't have to choose. What I do have to do is cut this little bit off here, which I left on when I was doing my cutting. Okay. And literally, it is so simple. You are going to start by folding your card up. Okay. You don't even need a bone folder for this, but you're going to fold your card up. And what you have to remember is that technically these 2 pieces here are going to be the main focus for the project. So you want these to be bigger than this top section here. Now, there's not a huge amount of pattern on that, so if I turn that over, I'm actually happier with this pattern being here. So I'm now going to take the top section and I'm going to fold it down. What you do need to remember when you do this is leave a gap between the folded card, the first piece of folded card, and the piece that you're folding over here. And that is literally so that you can really easily fold this without there being any obstruction. So this is kind of like the template that we're gonna work with, and what we're going to do is we're going to embellish this. We're going to add a notebook, and we're going to make this even more Christmassy than it already is. Okay, so I start by literally just taking the corners off these top pieces here. I just think it gives it a slightly softer effect. You know, it's something that I like, you know, but it doesn't really make any difference whether you keep those straight or not. Okay, so I'm going to open this section here, and we've got 3 sections. What I want to kind of try to fit in this inside section is I want to fit either 2 pockets and a notebook, or a pocket, a notebook, and a text spot. So I think probably the best place for the notebook is going to be this section here, which means we're going to try and add something to this piece and add something to this piece here. So we're going to have a little look and see what is on offer. I absolutely love these tuck pieces that Rachel put in the kit. They are beautiful. I mean, they are bigger than we need for this project, but they're easy to cut down as well. And I kind of think that I would like a really nice deep text spot here. You can either take the border off, or you can leave the border on. I mean, as it is, you're going to have to cut this to size anyway. So, you know, I quite like the border because I think it gives a little bit more definition. I'm not really one for measuring, so all I'm going to do at this point is I'm just going to turn this over, and I'm going to cut off that excess there. I'm going to fold this here, and I'm going to cut off that excess there. And you can always tidy it up afterwards if you make any mistakes. Just be careful not to cut through the fold in the actual design. Okay, so we're left with this here. Now, what you do need to be mindful of is that, again, this flap needs to be able to fold up quite comfortably. As it is, I think I'm going to have to take a little bit more off the top section here, because I think it's going to be too much of a tight fit. Okay, so let's give that another go. And that is perfect. Really nice deep text spot. You may not like the border. If you don't, take it off. It looks just effective without the border being in place. I like it as it is. So what I'm going to do quickly is I'm just going to glue this in place. And I kind of favour art glitter glue purely because it dries without any, it dries clear, so without any markings at all. I'm just going to have to see if I can unplug this a little bit, because that is one of the pains of using glue, is that they do get a little bit temperamental. Okay, that's better. I'm not the most tidy applier of glue, but this is very, very forgiving. And as I said, you get it anywhere that it shouldn't be, and it does dry clear. Okay, so we've got a text spot here. Got a little bit of glue on there, sorry. Now what you could do is you could attach this piece here, which would give you just almost like a deep side pocket, or a triangular pocket, or you could leave this plain. Because of where it is, I don't really want there to be an opportunity for this to kind of catch and rip. So I am going to glue that section down here, which just leaves us with this really, really nice deep pocket. Okay, so that's our first pocket. The next pocket I want to do is going to be on this top section. Now, because it's really, really small, you are limited to what you can put in there. And you certainly don't want things falling out every 2 minutes. But what I did find was that I really, really liked this washi tape that Rach provided within the kit. And I think this would look really, really good as a top pocket, just kind of following the theme of what we're doing here. So I'm going to put it here. And again, I am just going to that section off, cut a little bit there, and with this one, I'm going to just quickly ink the edges. What you kind of find when you are cutting into these pieces is that they can occasionally leave white spots that are quite noticeable. So again, just at some, see how messy I am? Dreadful. Okay. So again, we are just going to apply some glue and we're going to apply this to our pocket. Now again, one thing to be mindful of is you don't want it on that crease directly because you're going to be in a position then where you will struggle to close this. Excuse me. If you apply this just above that crease, you're going to be able to close that card comfortably and you've still got quite a nice little tuck, a tight pocket in here to add some tags or some labels or some small ephemera. Okay, so we know our notebook is going to be here, which means that we've got a little bit of decorating to do on the back. Now, because our notebook's going to be here and I'm going to be sewing it in place, I know that there is going to be some stitching, some thread here. Now, until I've done it, I don't know what that thread's going to look like, but the likelihood is that I'm going to have to cover that. So I'm going to leave this section last of all until I've put the notebook in place, and then we'll decorate it. Now, to move on to this section here, be mindful that obviously this is something that flaps up. So if you're going to decorate it, you need to turn it over and decorate it in this way. Otherwise, it's going to be upside down. So again, we are spoiled for choice, absolutely spoiled for choice. But I did see some pieces that I absolutely fell in love with. And that's if I can find them now. It's typical, I tried to be as organised as I could. Okay. And no, it's not gonna play nice for us today. So what we're going to do is we're going to go with our second choice here. And the great thing with this is that it has already got a cutout here. It's got Merry Christmas on the front. It's perfect really for what we need. I am going to take these sections off instead of folding it. I don't want it to be quite a bulky item. The paper's going to bulk it out anyway. But if we use these particular areas and attach it to our page like that, then it is going to definitely bulk this project out. So I am going to simply cut them off. These are my new Tim Holtz scissors, and I never thought I would be so impressed with an item, but they are absolutely awesome. Okay, now this is perfect because when I apply a pocket to the front of a piece, I don't actually like it to go right the way to the edges. I prefer it to be slightly, almost like a 3D effect, I suppose. I don't really know why, other than I just prefer the look. So that is what we have here. Now we're going to lose part of our Merry, so again the only other option is that we can cut this a little bit shorter. I'm going to use my cutter for that because as much as I love my new scissors, they haven't improved my cutting skills, and so to get a nice even cut, brilliant, and you can still see the Merry Christmas. So again, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a little bit of ink on this. I mean, it doesn't show up a huge amount on this particular design because the design's so dark anyway, but it does, I think, give that little bit of extra aged look. Okay, and I'm going to try and be a little bit more delicate in my glue application this time. Okay, just take that bit off there. And we're going to try and apply that as centre as we can. I mean, the great thing with this glue is that it is forgiving in a lot of ways, but there's not a lot of maneuverability time once you've added this to your piece. So once you've got it down, you need to pretty much get it in the right place first time. Okay, yeah, so happy with that so far. We have got an inside pocket, an inside pocket tack if you like, and another pocket here. What we're going to do now is we are going to put together our notebook, so bear with me. Okay, so I was working on a project earlier this week and I'd already cut some coffee dyed paper down. It gives us a good starting point, so I'm going to use this. Again, I'm not particularly fanatical about measuring. I just kind of gauge where I want things to be. So with this one here, again, you don't want the notebook to be right on the crease. You want to give yourself a little bit of space so that that fold over is comfortable. And again, exactly the same with this bottom piece. Okay, so I've estimated where we're going to make our cuts. And again, you know, this cutting is great. You don't have to make individual cuts, and it does cut down on a lot of, excuse the pun, a lot of messing around. Okay. So, this is our notepad. Just going to check that that will fit. And it does, although it is quite a tight fit on the sides. So I think I'm going to just take a tad more off the end. And as I said, you know, it doesn't have to be perfect. I'm going to use scissors to do this, just to trim the side down. Okay, almost there. I probably would have been better off measuring. Would have taken me a lot less time, but it's not as much fun. Okay, great stuff. So what we're now going to do is we are going to sew this in place. So I will be right back. Okay, so we've just stitched our section here. It was a little bit messy. What I've done is I've just added a little bit of the washi tape that we used earlier just to cover that area. And now we can concentrate on what we're going to do with this final back section here. Okay. And I think with so much to choose from, I'm wondering whether something with a little bit of contrast might stand out just a bit. And I quite like that. Okay, so again, what we're going to do is we are literally just going to cut a few pieces off here. And then if we need to tidy that up later, we can do that. And again, just be really, really careful that you don't cut too close to that crease, because that will really ruin your day. And it is really easy to do. Okay, so again, I'm gonna just put a little, I think it's a divot, is that? In the centre here. And we're just going to ink around the edges. And the ink will show a lot more on this because it's the lighter card. Give it that real old vintage feel. Okay, fab. So I'm just going to glue this into place. Okay, and I'm just going to trim this little excess bit off here. And we're just going to finish decorating our front section. What I have done is I've got this word hope, and I've just put it on a little bit of paper backing, just so that it stands out a little bit more. And we're going to put this here. And the other thing I did recently was make some button spots. This backing quote is from some fabric I had from Rachel and Bella's Etsy store, and all I've done then is just put a little book page heart in with some of this mesh kind of lace and a red button. And again, the colours are beautiful to match this particular project. And so we're going to go with this one here. We're going to use some fabric tack just because we're working with material. And we are going to pop that in place there. And just hold it to the set. And that's it. So this is our finished product. We have got a little bit of decoration on the front. We have got 2 pockets on the inside with a notebook. We've also got another pocket here as we flip this up, and a pocket on the reverse. It's a great piece. You can use it to attach to your journal, in which case if you were going to attach this to the page, you could attach it down the left and across the bottom, which would give you a nice big tuck spot behind that. You would, however, lose this section here. You could also attach it down the left, down the right, down the bottom for a nice big tuck spot at the top. Again, you would lose this section here. Other than that, you could flip this and hang it over a book page, or you could use this literally just to tuck in behind a tuck spot or a pocket. Loads and loads of uses. Thank you so much for taking the time and coming to have a look at my video today. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you will get the opportunity to have a go yourself. There are amazing collaborators in this particular project, this event. Their details are listed below. They would love it if you would literally just take a few minutes out of your day to pop along and have a look at their videos, have a look at their YouTube sites, showing them a little bit of love and support. And finally, I just want to take this opportunity to wish you all a blessed Christmas. I hope you could spend it with loved ones. I hope you get some time for yourself. Yeah, thanks for watching. Take care for now. Bye.